For joining us, and probably want to start with a little bit of my history. I got into software development when I was just 12 years old, and was involved in a lot of different things in music and sports when I was really young. And I was really attracted to software development because it was a platform that really allowed me to dream of anything. It's a platform that, even though maybe you're constrained by the physical world or constrained by the people around you, if you can think about the algorithm, think about the experience you want to create, it's unlimited potential. And we see that really realizing in the industry today of how people are bringing these things together. So when we think about the Appian product, it's really, yes, we're building a platform, but the real purpose and the beauty of the Appian product, I think, is best represented in what our customers are doing with it. The purpose that I've had in my life has really only been fulfilled by working with you as customers, by allowing you to build the solutions of your dreams and bring together for your specific industry, whether it was green energy, financial banking, the Affordable Care Act. All these are innovative solutions that we're trying to help with you as a partner deliver a concept that didn't even occur before, trying to change the world in a new way through a platform that allows you to express your intent and have that intent realized in a software application, which organizes the logic, organizes the people, organizes the system in a new pattern that hasn't been seen before, a new innovation that hasn't been seen before. So we think about the concept of Appian World, reinvent, innovate, deliver. It really kind of encompasses what we're trying to think about with the Appian product. It's a platform for reinvention, for the idea of seeing the world as it is and seeing it how it can be. Realizing those innovations and allowing to express the intent of those innovations in a single solution, and then delivering that quickly and seamlessly to your customers. So, of course, over the past year, kind of summarizing from Appian World 2014 to Appian World 2015, we've had enormous growth, and it's all because of you, our customers, who've been trusting Appian as a partner to help you deliver those solutions. Now, less point is we had 111% license growth, but more importantly, we've had over 200 solution go-lives. So these are all the individual solutions that you are realizing the Appian product. And I'm not sure if you realize it, but when we're aware of those solution go-lives, we actually celebrate those inside our own Tempo experience. So we have a home server, home.appian.com, that we use. Every solution go-live we hear about from our customers, we broadcast inside Appian. There's usually a round of congratulations and a lot of applause about each of our customers' innovations they're realizing with the Appian product. And also, another thing that we've been talking about that we're very proud of is that almost 90% of our customers have upgraded their Appian systems over the past year. As Wayne referred to in the Bank of the West, it is challenging to keep pace with us. We are a pure agile CI architecture. We're constantly releasing new versions of the Appian product, and we realize it is always a challenge for any enterprise with strict auditing and security regulations to keep pace with this innovation. And it's a testament to both our customers' commitment to the Appian product, as well as our ability to deliver that product seamlessly in new versions that so many of you have chosen to upgrade from 7.4, 7.5, 7.6 into the latest version 7.8, and now today 7.9. So I'd like to first thank you for trusting Appian to be a partner to realize your vision, to use as a platform to build those solutions. And also I want to provide a thank you from our engineering staff. So this is actually all the core engineers. I'm not sure if you're aware that Appian doesn't really outsource any of our software development. All of our engineers are right here reporting into the headquarters office. And this is actually all the core people behind the Appian product. So just under 100 or so core developers, and a lot of them are in the audience and actually available for you to not only talk to, but also see the session presentations coming up in the afternoon of today and tomorrow. So we all thank you for trusting in us as a team and as being part of your team. And with that, I'd like to talk a little bit about these custom apps. And of course, when we talk about custom apps, as Matt referred to earlier, it's kind of an obtuse word, so custom. And it really is about realizing your vision. Appian's not in the business of coming in saying, this is the best way to do expense management. This is the best way to do HR. This is the best way to do customer onboarding. We know that you're the experts. You're the leaders in your industry. We want to provide you a platform that allows you to make that easy to express that intent. So easy to basically capture and build those individual interfaces. And powerful, making sure that the solutions that you build are not just QuickBooks or Microsoft Access, little one-offs in an office productivity platform, but something that can actually scale to enterprise level to grow with your business as that idea grows as you build it on the Appian product. So, and also, we very much focus on delivering Appian as a unified product experience. We don't a la carte the individual pieces. When we come out with a new innovation like offline mobile or other capabilities, we're not going to come back to you and say, well, yeah, if you want to realize that in your vision, here's an extra license cost. We want to have you use the entire product as a unified platform. It keeps the product seamlessly integrated and allows you to invent new ideas into the product through these new feature capabilities that we're constantly releasing. And it really is that spirit of partnership. It's not that idea of we're going to constantly sell you a product. We want to partner to realize your vision. So with that, I'd like to announce Appian 7.9 as Matt Calkins provided earlier, and a little bit of a taste of some of those features. The first point is, as probably a lot of you have seen, is why did we not call this 8.0? It has so many cool features. It revolutionizes the application design time experience, introduces brand new mobile capabilities, brand new end user capabilities. We called it 7.9 because it is an iterative improvement on the Appian product. Every single design pattern, even those customers who are still using the portal interface, seamlessly migrate to the 7.9 platform, and all those current solutions are still working inside the Appian 7.9 platform from all the earlier versions. So we encourage you to adopt the upgrade and, of course, experience these new design patterns for composing your solution, but everything you've already built is going to work just the way you had before. Now, the new design time experience is very simple to access. So, as a lot of you who participate in Appian Design might be aware, you access the designer experience by going to /suite/designer. And this is a screenshot of the old design time experience. It was tab heavy, we'll call it. Very imposing when you think about the number of features we presented to you at once into the one product. To access the new environment, simply go to /suite/design. You'll notice also that when you log into and access the latest Appian 7.9 environment, both the old designer and the new design time experience work in parallel on your existing applications. So you can choose when you want to start to migrate to the new environment. Both still work. It is a seamless migration from the earlier versions to 7.9. But as you'll see, what we've been trying to achieve in this simplified solution is a more elegant and intuitive design pattern that really goes more naturally flowing with how you want to compose an application. The first introduction to the Appian Designer is the application object. So that's the starting point now of how you compose an application in Appian. You create first your idea. I'm going to call it service request or marketing or HR onboarding or customer onboarding. From that, I start to build out the individual components. So it's an intuitive design tool. Here I see a listing of all the applications. As I navigate into an individual application, I now see in one place all the artifacts of that application. From the left-hand side, I can quickly navigate to individual types of objects, interfaces, rules, process models, as well as filter and find with a search across all the information inside the system, and then also filter by when I change things or change the column sorting. So it's one place to see all the artifacts of your application. I can navigate directly to those, as well as compose any element from this one point. So rather going to different tabs to build a process, or maybe a rule or interface, I simply select New, and I choose the object I need to create in the context of that application. We still have the global repository, so if I have shared artifacts across multiple development teams, you can still add an existing object from your other environments and have that as a shared object as well. You can add existing elements. And of course, the individual design tools have also been improved. First, we still have the same drag and drop industry-leading process design tool. It's seamlessly integrated into the design time experience, and of course it's the same process patterns that you're familiar with. It has that simple experience for drag and drop visually composing and orchestrating your processes, allowing you to also test and run those processes from the design time experience. We also making iterative improvements on the interface design capabilities. As some of you are aware who are using 7.8, we had a dramatic improvement in 7.8 in December, having a really business analyst friendly way of composing these dynamic sale interfaces. Sail is a very rich way for building these kind of rich user experiences that have complex customer interactions or user interactions. Now you can build those through a simple point-and-click interface in the left-hand side design view, allowing you to easily add components and move those components around. Now another new design feature that we're also introducing is called Web APIs. Appian has always had a very robust Java API to the entire product for as long as I've been, for the 10 plus years I've been with Appian. But now, obviously, our customers are demanding that we have a more modern web API experience that allows any application to invoke Appian, not just also starting a process from the existing web API we have for initiating a process, but we've released a web API designer. So just like you build an interface or I build a process, I want to build a custom entry point into that custom application. You have a unique solution. Maybe I'm trying to manage wind turbines, or maybe I'm trying to manage a fleet of rental vehicles. And I have a unique way I need to interact with my application. You can now compose that as a web API and expose that web API to third-party systems. And inside the 7.9 release, allow you to expose things like your reporting data, use Appian as a headless rules engine, so the rules logic you build in Appian you can now process in third-party systems as a web API, or use the master data management features of records as you consolidate that record data into Appian, now start to expose that record data as a universal data structure through our web APIs to any other system as well. So it really is quite an innovative feature for extending the use of the Appian product in your own custom software development environments in third-party applications. To go along with the Web API, of course, there's also a Web API design time experience. The Web API design time experience looks just like the interface designer. So it's designed to be intuitive, allows you to capture the logic. You can change the logic to meet your specific application needs. You can test, and also it's stored inside the application object container. So it moves from its software development lifecycle, from development to test to production, with all your other supporting components like rules and reports and the process models that also support that Web API. Now this interaction that we build, as we build processes, as we build interfaces, as we build rules, it gets very complex. If I happen, for example, if I happen to have a single report, that report suddenly might build up this spider web of interrelationships to the data structure that supplies the data for the report. Of course, the data is supplied also by a process model that processes the data. The process model consumes rules that need to also support the processing of the data. So you have a very complex relationship of all the objects you build inside an Appian application. What we built inside the Appian product in 7.9 is real-time indexing and search capabilities of all design time relationships. Every single artifact you build in Appian is going to be inherently aware of its relationship to the other objects, giving you real-time impact analysis on any object relationship. And we call this both up-chain and down-chain precedence and dependence. So if I take that one object, I can quickly visualize what are all the things that use this object? What are all of its dependents, the things that are dependent on this object? And what are all the things that this object is dependent on? It's what we call precedence. Instant visualization, which facilitates fluid change management inside your overall operations. Now, of course, we also provide an interface for this, so the insight to the real-time change management can be gained from any artifact. So simply by selecting an individual artifact, I click on precedence or dependence, and I get this visualization showing me all the information saying, yes, that service request priority rule is being used by this process model, this interface, this feed, this data store. These are all of its precedent or dependent objects immediately delivered to the designer. Another challenge when you build these complex applications is how do I manage the security of those? There might be 500, 1,000 different design objects as I build these complex solutions that include processes, rules, interfaces, data. How do I ensure that each user has the right access to each of those individual elements? Appian now has a security summary view that allows you to see that in one view. Every single artifact, every single user, every single group, what access they have with what elements, ensuring every application has the proper security to meet your specific auditing and security needs, as well as supporting the application design and rollout. Now these are just some of the features. I actually did not have time to cover every single feature of the overall application design time experience, but I encourage you to attend all the sessions. There's a lot more to learn around how we're revolutionizing patching and code management and overall application design. From the end user experience, Appian has very much been about this integrated decision cycle, what we call awareness, knowledge, and action. It's the ideal interface for caseworkers or knowledge workers to basically create a seamless decision cycle. If I have a knowledge worker, they need to be made aware of the overall operations of the business. They need to have a push interface. When things happen, I need to be told what's going on. And that's ideally delivered through the Appian Tempo experience, where we have that news stream, consolidates all my interests into a single place. From the news stream, I have record tags and actions I can link directly to the artifacts that relate to those events. From that awareness cycle, I go into knowledge. As we've seen a lot from Bank of the West and other customers, records is a really revolutionary feature, allowing you to consolidate knowledge across the entire enterprise into case files and record structures. So I have one place to see all the meaningful data to support good decisions inside the environment. That data structure, as I mentioned before, is kind of like a master data management concept. I can consolidate lots of different data sources into a single view to make smarter, more informed, and more agile decisions. And of course, when I need to make those decisions, all this is seamlessly integrated into our leading business process management platform, allowing you to see the actions you need to take, task lists, work actions, right from the records menu, or right from individual custom task reports environments. This is all a great experience for a knowledge worker. Now, we've had some feedback on the Tempo experience. Well, what if I want to create a more consolidated view, a more focused experience? So based on the feedback we've heard from customers, what if I just did this? What if I just took out the toolbar on the top? What if I just took out the left-hand toolbar? And then what if I delivered to our designers the ability to create what we call a focused user experience? And that focused user experience is what we call Appian Sites. The Sites feature is a core part of the entire Appian product, allowing you to create a fit-for-purpose, focus experience for a certain class of users. Now, if you notice how that works, Sites is always a derivative of Tempo. So specifically, Sites is a custom task report. It allows me to say, I want to take that little piece of Tempo, I want to take away the overall distractions that maybe a heads-down worker might see from the news stream or the records view, and focus their attention on that just specific element of the environment. Now, as a designer, you can actually build as many sites as you want inside the Appian product. I can have different types of views for different classes of user. And we also have a feature called User Start Pages, which allows you to set, when this certain user logs in, have them automatically go to that site instead of the Tempo experience. So as a designer, I can control which experience which user are going to receive when they log into the Appian system. And of course, reiterating the point that this is always a derivative of Tempo. So Tempo is always the master control environment, the unified experience that combines all the views, all the different sites into a single place. It's the ideal environment for the knowledge worker, sites being the ideal environment for the heads-down task worker. And of course, as I click into those sites, so when I click into a specific task, I'm not driven out of that experience. Seamlessly go to the task, complete the task, and then go right back to the task list I was working on inside the environment. Now, to create a site, since it is a simple derivative of Tempo, it's amazingly easy to create a new site. All I do is go into the application designer experience, select new site, and fill out 4 fields. Give it a name, give it a description, which is technically optional, give it a website identifier. So what is the new URL address they're going to go to for the site, and choose what they want to see. I have a drop-down list showing me all the different views from Tempo I could possibly now create a focus experience on. Just like that, I've created a focus experience in Appian Sites. I've now published that, made it available to that specific class of users. And of course, as Matt alluded to as well, we also have the embedded sale feature. There's another class of participants in the overall Appian experience, which is those B2B and B2C type scenarios, allowing you to engage with the external participants of your overall enterprise in a more branded and custom experience. Embedded sale allows you to embed Appian where you need it, in a public application, in an internal portal, to adopt the brand of your overall enterprise to seamlessly fit inside your overall user experience as well. And of course, all this is supplied by the core architecture of Appian Sale. Appian Sail, as we start to expose more and more of its power through each iterative release, more of our customers are realizing that it truly is a transformative technology, which allows you to focus on the user experience and the function of what you want to do, rather than all the delivery mechanisms for how we deliver the solution. So you can simply develop with confidence. As I compose that interface, it's automatically going to be available in every single web browser and all the leading mobile devices on Apple and Android devices. So it really accelerates your development by defocusing away from the mundane aspects of IT, compliance with consumption devices, and focusing on the function of how you want to really realize that solution. And of course, a core tenet of the Appian product has been that mobile is included. We provide that as a seamless experience. You develop once and you deploy on every single application environment. But now we also have mobile offline actions. As Matt talked about before, you can now take Sail locally on your offline experience, have people work remotely, and then start to actually process those items, submit them back to the Appian environment. But as obligatory, let's take a look at this stuff in action. Now, one of the things I always like to enjoy as well is trying to make sure we're always cutting edge. And I promised I'd show this, so let's take a look. For those of you who attended Appian World last year, I had the Google Glass device. One of the commitments that Appian always has to our customers is that we are trying to be leading edge. When there is a new device coming out, we want to be the first to adopt it. We want to adapt Appian to it so that the solutions you build start to work on it right away. Now, Google Glass didn't work out exactly the way that Google expected, but we did innovate on it. We built an entire solution, and I feel more confident that I'm kind of enjoying the Apple Watch right now. But we do already have prototypes of allowing to have push notifications and notifications of devices or the solutions you build to these remote wearable devices. It's a great way to start to think about how I'm going to adopt other types of way of consuming information, your overall Appian experience, and have that seamlessly work inside your own custom application solutions. Well, let's take a look now at the offline experience in 1 second. Let me close this. There we go. So, oops, there we go. Session logged out. So this is a typical Appian mobile application. We saw some examples of it from the Bank of the West and some other customer solutions. Of course, you have tasks, records, and what we're delivering inside this environment right now is the ability to start to capture information in an offline fashion. So from the actions menu, I have my list of all my actions, but let's say, for example, I'm working next to a wind turbine, which I have no network connectivity. So go ahead and turn on airplane mode right away. You'll see how this is going to affect the Appian application. First, we have that intelligent detection of offline awareness. So it's a seamless knowledge of, hey, we've gone offline. I'm going to give an indicator to the user that there is an offline experience, and now we reduce the number of actions they can perform. You can now compose an Appian Sail form for specifically consumption in an offline manner. When those offline forms are defined, I'll see them available to me right here. So if I come in and say, well, yeah, there's a customer, I'm capturing a service request for this specific order number, and I'm just going to type service request. Oops, if I can type, say service request, requester's name. And of course, what happens if I do something like type in a really bad email address? I can still do things like taking photos, record video, so do that rich media capture to incorporate in the overall offline submission. So you have a lot of the core capabilities of the entire Appian form experience. You simply don't have any types of dynamic interaction that require that server-side processing, but you can still capture all the information in a completely offline mode. As I submit that, the action's been completed, it's been queued for submission, and now while I'm continuing to work offline, I can see very quickly all the items. I can go back to those items to revise them while I'm still offline, waiting to be submitted. An experience that a lot of us are familiar for using Outlook and other types of offline experiences. You're used to that kind of outbox type mentality. Now let's take it online and see what happens. So just turn back on Wi-Fi. And right away you see, wait, there's an action still pending. Oops, need to make sure my screen doesn't show off. What do you know? There we go. So So I can see I still have an action pending. Something's failed. Now I had an intelligent email validation that said, I want to make sure that when I capture an email, I want to automatically validate on the server side that's a real email address. That was a server-side validation. You can still have those server-side validations as part of your overall sale form experience, but they simply process once the user comes back online. So here I can see there's an issue now. There's a little flag next to it. As I select that, I can see right away highlighted in red where the issue is. I need to provide a valid email address if I'm going to fill out this form correctly. Once I complete that, now it's been validated on the server. I can now resubmit it, and my action's been completed. Now let's try a different scenario here. I'm going to go offline again. A little trip to the Outback for some of our Australian customers here. Let's make sure it detects my offline status. There it is. So now offline, go ahead and fill in some other information. Pardon my typos, I won't bother correcting them. Type in a correct one here. And I'm not going to bother taking another picture, but something sometimes really evil happens. The designers back at home like to change things, and they can change things while I might be offline. So what happens when someone actually changes that form while I'm in my offline experience? Go back into the design time experience. Now I'm going to go to my service request application, go to my offline service request. And let's imagine I'm working in the Australian Outback, maybe surveying some mines, some of our customers work in that type of operation. And I'm working for maybe 2 weeks offline. Well, I couldn't stop my core enterprises while I was offline. I need to be able to fluidly change my overall design environment. So I'm going to go to the interface designer. I'm going to say, well, yeah, the section right here, underneath the paragraph field, I want to add a new element. It's going to be a risk rating component. And that risk rating component, I need to capture, for all my service requests, I need to say risk to business. Please describe the risk to the business for this request. Simple request. As a designer, I'm thinking, well, that should be no problem. I'm just going to make that simple change, but I'm going to make a required field. I'm not going to let them skip it. I'm going to map it to my specific values, make sure I capture it inside the environment, save into, and now I'm done. As you can see from my design time experience, you can see I'm actually have this toggle right here designing for offline. So I'm going to identify which forms I want to have available for offline. But now I'm going to go ahead and save that. So it's now the live form. If I happen to go back to my experience now, I'm coming back from the Outback. I go ahead and submit my form. Everything's hunky-dory. I think I've completed my work as my boss has told me to. But now I'm back on the internet. And there it is. So I have another issue. If you see one action pending, I have another flagged item. So I go into that item right here. It's saying the form has changed. While you were offline for those 2 weeks, there's been some change on the server side. So again, to facilitate this fluidity of change, even in an offline state where people aren't aware of change, we need to be able to have them seamlessly handle that change. So if I go to review the new form, we actually have a diff view. A diff view is a difference view. It shows me the new form, the original form right here. So I can actually compare side by side on my mobile device. I can see the differences in two technologies or two forms. I can see, well, this is my new field. Go ahead and correct the new form and submit that and now push that along. So again, facilitating that seamless change, even in an offline experience, what Appian's all about to make sure you can realize those changes, implement those changes, even when people are disconnected from the overall experience. So with that, I see I have 2 minutes to cover the rest of the design time experience. And there honestly is so much to talk about in the overall design time experience. It's going to be hard to cover everything in a short demo. But to give you an idea of the fluidity of change inside the system, let's take, for example, patching and code management. I know I changed a few things just today and yesterday, so I can very quickly say, well, what are those things I just changed? If I just change maybe an interface inside of here, I can very easily filter through the exact objects I want and say, well, I need to push those to my test and then production environment. So I'll just add it to a patch right here, export to patch. Easy migration, fluidity of change in application design and building these new interfaces or building these new application solutions. If I go out, change off my toggles, you can see already from the experience how fluid or fast the experience is navigating around. If I were to go into, say, an individual process model,
I'm going to change maybe my create new product process model right here. But before I change it, I want to understand what are all the things that can possibly be impacted by that change. So first I'm going to maybe look at the precedence view. What are the things that this process model uses? So right away, instantly I see an index of every single design time artifact. But I don't just see the list of artifacts. I see in the second column here the exact location of where it is. So for a designer, that's extremely valuable. I don't just see that something is impacted by my change, but I see exactly how something is being consumed or used inside of that. So I can see right here this constant for the record type is being used in a process node called post new product, and it's a conditional statement inside of there. So nice fluid change inside the overall experience. And of course, from a site's perspective, if I want to create a new site, I'll go ahead back to my All Applications view, go into my site's configuration. Literally, to create a site, simply a few clicks. I simply configure these few elements, and now I have a new fit-for-purpose experience. As you can see, it's a specific URL address now, so I can kick some people into this environment and set up tempo. I can then have them work inside it, so they can access their tasks, accept the task, complete it, reassign this to maybe another user, and then it takes me right back to my task list and keep on working. Extremely efficient for a heads-down worker. And just keep on going extremely fast like this. Now, if I want to have more sale capabilities, since a site is based on the full power of sale, I can do things like showing reports, having multi-column layouts, having different types of interactions inside the overall experience. The core of what a site is simply a header. We give you the site name. I have a login, log out button right here, so it's authentication in front of it. And this wider screen view for the overall experience is exactly what you get to design. So you get to design the actual interface from bottom to top and what exactly you want those specific users to see. It's ideally suited in the 7.9 release for a heads-down task worker to seamlessly access those tasks, complete those tasks, and move on to the next task inside their core operations, just like this. So with that, there's so much to explore in the Appian 7.9 release. To summarize, to think about the Appian product, just reiterating that we do focus on providing a single platform experience. It has lots of different uses, from business process management, as a framework for case management, as an enterprise mobility platform, or even as a platform as a service or cloud offering. It is a single product that services all these different needs and different solutions inside your enterprise. And of course, it's a platform for allowing you to reinvent, change, innovate, and deliver those solutions in as fast as possible as have been realized. I'd like to, again, thank you for joining Appian World, and I invite you to attend the speaker sessions and the training sessions that we have planned. We've lined up a number of our product experts, product managers, trainers, professional services personnel, specifically for you to get educated on the latest features of the Appian product, to ask your questions, and of course, realize new and innovative ways you can be using the Appian product. Thank you all, and welcome to Appian World.